Hey there, my sweet stitching family. This is Bonnie, Log Cabin Stitcher. Welcome to my channel and welcome to my sewing room. I have a lot of fun things to show you today, things in progress, things I finished, and just some ideas for you. I've got a lot of Valentine. I have been stitching, cross stitching a lot and not finishing. And this, in my head, this was going to be the week I was going to be finishing, and just different things have come up. So I just thought, let's just share it with you. And then hopefully next time I'll have things finished and all displayed, and then I can take pictures and share them with you. I have been learning how to edit. It's going to definitely be a process where I see what's comfortable, what's not, what I want to spend time investing in learning, what I just want to just do life and not do. So I would love your feedback on, as you're seeing, like if you've been following me for just a short time, I have been playing with some editing. So just let me know what you think. Is it helpful? Is it distracting? There you go. Honest opinion. Can I get your honest opinion? And you tell me how it works for you. I really like to be laid back and casual with these videos. As far as, I always want it to be as if you were just a friend sitting with me in my sewing room, not everything perfect, just laughing and having a good time. And I believe that's why you're watching me now, because you've watched me before and it feels comfortable just to visit with me. And I appreciate that so much and I value that. And a lot of you have been missing me because I have been very sporadic, hit and miss. One of my goals for this year is to really stay present in front of you and to live my life in such a way that I don't need to hide and stitch, which is what I do a lot. So let's just see. No promises, but those are my goals. So this is one of the things in the last video I pointed over to an area. I'm going to be trying different I don't know, views that you have, and I really feel more comfortable standing up. So that's what I'm going to try to do. So this is a gorgeous box that I picked up. I love antique and vintage kind of consignment stores. And this is one that I picked up when we were going from place to place 2 years ago, when we didn't really have a home to settle in. And this was my little portable stitching room. And it really was amazing. So I have this, oh, look at, there's one of my little thimble things. This was my little Ort container. I had all my fun things in here. This bear wasn't with me, but he likes to be there now. And let's see if I take that out. I can actually show you maybe without dumping. This was a bear that a friend of my mother's had made, and I found it when I was cleaning out some of the things from my mother. So this is a project that I did. This was one of my California projects. So Love Never Fails. This was a freebie by, I'm pretty sure it's the Primitive Hair. And we will see. I won't be able to share all the details of all my things because a lot of these I made years ago, and we'll just see how much I can share. But all these have been in past videos. A lot of the linen that I'm going to be showing you was hand dyed, and then this is one of probably Indian Summer or Lancaster Red. So it was one red that had a lot of variegation, and I really like doing that. And then this was just some ribbon that I had from my past beading days that I used around the end. Now in here, there we go, I've got some of my skeleton keys, just some fun things that I'm collecting to see how I want to display this. I believe was a gift to me. So just fun things, but I am so comfortable with old things because I'm getting old. But I love being surrounded by old things, things that I've had for a long time, or something that is old that I got new. And I usually use like coconut oil, and I will put it on a rag and clean things up. Someone else, another stitcher, thank you, that watched me, mentioned feed excuse me, Feed and Wax. And that's a product, I think it's by Howard's, that you can pick up at Home Depot. And I've used that before too, but I use a lot of coconut oil, so that tends to be something that I use. All right. As always, there's lots of stuff set here. Now, this is not Valentine's Day, but this is next. I had mentioned this in the last video that I did, and I don't think I clarified on what pattern it was. So this is a freebie called Auld Lang Syne by Heartstring Samplery. There's a lot of free charts that I'm going to be showing you today. This is one of my stitching boxes, and it was so fun. I was catching up on Rhonda with Asbury's Echoes, and she has done several new stitching boxes, and she makes patterns, so she's doing them with stitching boxes in mind. So check her out, and I'm going to show you a few of the stitching boxes that I have out, as well as I have a lot of the raw products. So as I'm doing a lot of finishing, I just get my boxes out, I see what fits, see what I feel like, and a lot of it is just playtime, but I've got to be focused. So this was, I believe it was Vintage Country Mocha. So that is the free pattern, but the stitching box I had shown, this one I had shown in my last one, but that's where I got this pattern from. And let's put those things there. And today I went to Hobby Lobby and I picked up another one, because these wood boxes, a lot of time they're inexpensive, and a lot of times they're cheap as well. So there's damaged parts on there. So I hadn't realized when I bought that box that it's just a little tiny dowel that goes in there, and it was broken, and I had already painted and waxed the outside, so I didn't want to return it. So my husband helped me to fix it. But I just picked up one of these. I showed you that, $3.99. So if there's one in good condition and I'm checking everything out, I'll just get it knowing that I'll use it for something. And I may use that for one of the finishes that I'm going to show you. The other ones, so this is the close-up on this one, just a smaller box. And the same thing, except I've already had these. And there's a project that I have that's going to go on this one. But this is how they are. They come raw, and they're light wood. And so it's really nice because you can do your painting, staining, waxing, however you choose to do it. These are the card boxes. This one doesn't have the writing on the back, but they're the plain card boxes that come at Hobby Lobby. So I'm always looking at, now today there was 4 or 5 at Hobby Lobby. They were all a little wonky, so it's like, nope, not going to get any of those. So I'm checking that this latch works. I'm checking that this is nice and tight without being all wonky. And I'm just looking to see, does the hinge work? So all those kind of things, or does it have a really weird marking on the front? So those are some of the empty stitching boxes, and all these are out here because I am going to be doing a lot of finishing. I had bought this to do something for my son. Never did another Hobby Lobby one. And we'll see. I've got to ask him, do you still have room? Would you still like me to do something? So I was going to do, this is how I pack them. I pack them away, and that way I can store things better. So this is a box within a box. This was another Hobby Lobby one, I'm guessing, more like the recipe card kind of a thing. So we'll see what I do with this and what's inside. There's another thing there, but I know I picked that up at a thrift store. So, yep, it was $2. So this one was already stained, but isn't that cool? How I like that look. So I was going to see, is there something else in there? This doesn't bother me at all because I can put something there. I can put fabric, I can put wool, or I can put stitching on there. So, and that too, I can fix that. So it's just fun to be able to play. I'm looking, what else do I have here? It's just fun to be able to play. And that's where I am really going to get, I've got lots of finishes, and I'm missing some of them because I've just kind of been putting them all over the place, and I really want to finish things up. So the reason I went to Hobby Lobby was I got this thing out. So this was a a bare roots pattern, something that I made years ago. And before I had it in a simpler frame, but the frame did not really show this off. It didn't really match and it didn't make sense. So I am just trying to go and see what is in stock. So this week, and I never know when I'm going to post my videos now because I'm trying to make them ahead of time so I could post them after I've playing around. But at Hobby Lobby, the frames were half price. So this is the one that these are newer, and it's got the double glass in there because I guess that's the new thing, that you put the picture there and you've got room, but it gives me a lot of opportunity. So I may use the glass or I may use different fabric and make a bigger frame. I really wanted it to stand out more because I have a lot of dark things, as you can see. And I thought, well, I was looking, what color do I want? And this is kind of a charcoal. So I thought this is kind of a charcoal, but the problem is it's made for that, but two sizes that I got are both going to be used this way. So I'm going to be unscrewing this thing and taking it off and seeing how, either just leaving that little knob there or taking it off. So we shall see. But this was, did I tell you? This was bare roots, very old pattern, but when I was really into embroidery, and a fun kind of applique. But you can see the close-up. That's how I used to do applique, and it was fun, and embroidery. So a lot of fun stitching. So that was one of my frames. And since frames were half price, I picked up this one. It was $20, so half price, of course, would be $10. Now, this is the kind of the farmhouse look, and that's not me. So what I'm going to try to do is use the brie wax that I love using. It's like a stain wax. My color is Tudor Brown. I don't have it to show you because I leave it in the garage because it's messy and it kind of smells even in the tin. So I'm going to be trying to use a little wax. I may use paint, but I just thought I'm going to try because I am really enjoying changing things out for the season with the same similar frames. And I am also going to try the thing I wanted to suggest to you as well. If you're not one that wants to take something to get it framed, I am now using the one of the calculators. What is it? On 123 Stitch, if you look under free, there's like the calculator for linen and even weave or something like that. And I can put in, excuse me, let me get a drink. It just helps you figure out, it helps you figure out, like if you do it on a 30 or 32 count, no, 30, 32, 36. That's kind of my general one. What the size is going to be. Excuse me, let me cough for a minute. It just helps you figure out what the size is, and that helps me figure out, do I have a frame that will fit that? I have a whole box of frames that I have picked up inexpensively at stores or a lot of thrift stores, and that just helps me save money and be able to buy more patterns. So what do I have here showing you? Oh, I do like to pick up, this is kind of how I store things. So usually, like this was one I painted, and it's just, it's plastic. So I just had that out, but usually I will put these, this is how I stack things up. So this was something that I picked up. I have a whole collection of this kind of silver wood frame. These are vintage. I don't know what years they were from, but I need to find something. I have an idea because I saw something on like a primitive sampler that I saw on Pinterest, but I need to look through my patterns, measure this, and start using these frames that I've collected for a purpose, because a lot of times 36 count linen is my favorite. A lot of times I will just do it 36, or I'll do what's called for, but then if I want to frame it, I may not have a frame for it. So I'm going to start being more purposeful because I've collected a lot of fun frames, or I've gotten a frame and painted it, stained it, whatever, and they're cool, but they're just sitting in a box. So I really want to combine and get things organized. Now with those boxes that I was showing you, and do I have one? Oh, you know what I did? I now know how to put a video at a, you know, the little video that shows up at the end of a video. And there's one that I showed a lot of the, I think all of the stitching boxes that I have finished. I showed those, but it was 36 minutes into it. So I'm gonna put that video at the top at the very end, and you can click that at the end of this video if you make it all the way to the end. But I can also link it in the bottom in case you don't want to get all the way to the end and watch the video. But I show a lot of them and yak all about it. But there's several paints that I've been getting. This is just the one that they carry at Hobby Lobby, and it's okay. Not my favorite, but it works. So I thought, oh, I don't think I have something for fall. So I wanted to use something for fall. So I can always lighten or darken this with black or white paint, but I also sand it down and I use the brie wax on top, and then I buff it, and it really does give it the primitive look. So this is burnt orange, and the trick is you can't always look at that, but if you look at that, that's the color. Then I want to do something for Valentine's Day, and I have done a lot of Valentine stitching, so I will share all that with you, and I even ironed it. I hope you guys were impressed. But I kept thinking of colors because I'm very visual. I was thinking about colors, and usually I'll do a lot of red stuff, and I did a lot of red stuff, but I kept thinking about this pink with brownish colors. And I have fabric because I'm a quilter, so I was just imagining that as I was getting all this stuff done. So I wanted to pick up a paint that was conducive to that. So that's kind of it's not a pink, it's more, what do they call it here? Blush pink. So it is kind of more of a blush. And I am going to have fun with that because I had a bright pink that I bought for a friend of mine that liked brights, and I never did that, but I thought that's not me. So we'll see. That's just the fun thing, is I like to go and play and just see what can I find and what can I do with what I've got. Now, let's see. I'm just going to show you, I still have, okay, so bear with me. I still have a lot of finishes, but in the last video, I had pointed over to this one dresser that I have, and I've been playing with buttons. So I have a huge button collection, and this jar up there has the majority of the buttons from my family. I have a note in there, and it said this was from her mother, from her grandmother, and then people passed down buttons. So I've got those, but the lid was stuck on top. A lot of these old vintage jars are kind of rusty, and I had shut the lid on that and I couldn't get into it. So I thought, oh my gosh, I've got hundreds of buttons in there and I can't get to them. So my husband helped me figure out a way that I used oil to help make that rusted lid move better. But he also played with a knife and helped pop it off without breaking anything. So it was fun. So now I can get into my buttons, and now I just set the lid on top and not screw it in. But this was something that I had done. I picked up these. I don't know if these are old or not, but I really like the glass that has these markings, which is similar to vintage. So I don't think it's vintage because of the top, but this was what I had said that I had done. So I've got white buttons here, like salt and pepper, and I just picked out a bunch of dark buttons and put them there. So buttons have been my thing. And as you're looking through, like, so many of the designers show you a finished product in a really fun, decorated way. Blackbird Designs does that all the time. Stacy Nash does that. A lot of other designers do that. And it's just buttons are so fun and so easy to play with. And then I can take these out and do something else with them. So that was one thing that I was doing with my buttons. And this is an old jar that I have had. I probably bought this in my 20s. So I've had stuff in there. Sometimes I'll show it like that, and I'll have that displayed. But I thought, oh, I want to do buttons. So I just put a bunch of white buttons in there, and then I have it over over on my dresser over there. So that's just fun. I am really enjoying, especially after taking Christmas down, I have just been on this thing because I have decluttered a lot of my things, my old decorations that I had at our house in California, then pulled stuff from the cabin that we have here. And as I was decluttering before we moved, I can't remember what I kept, what I don't have, and I still have some boxes in the garage. So I've just been kind of like pulling, what do I like? What do I not want anymore? And then I pass it along. So it's just been fun for me. But this was something that I had made from when I was doing my videos before in California. This was, I'll show you the book that it's from, but this book is an older book and not easy to get, but it's wool. And there are so many awesome wool patterns out available. So there's a lot of different ways, vintage button from my collection. So a lot of different ways that I like to stitch. I love stitching. And then this is all different styles of how you can stitch something. And a lot of times I will display it just sideways like this. I was going to put a hanger on it, but I like just doing it sideways. And I just like to play around with it. So that is from a book. Where do I have that book? Oh, I have so many things to show you. Hang tight. And this is from this book. And these are old books, but I have often said, anytime you can get any of the Needle Love books, I'm sure you're going to have to look on the secondary market. But this one, Folk Heart Threads, is amazing. And that's in there. And I have a lot of projects that I want to make in here before Valentine's is over. So that's a fun thing. And I've just been in the mood for Valentine's. And a lot of times I had shared on my FlossTube that I did last that I enjoy the process of cross stitching. And now we have our beautiful gas fireplace, which you would have seen in the Christmas tour. In the evening, it's so wonderful. I sit down with a cup of tea. I'm looking at my fireplace, and it's just a treat that I look forward to in the evening. So sometimes I just don't feel like finishing, but I have been enjoying the stitching. But pink. So it's just fun. Pink is fun. This was project bag that I had made with a block that my mom had done, and then I did the stitching on there. I have not made any project bags since the beginning of 2022 when we were getting ready to move. And I've been catching up. I keep watching some of my old videos of like, what was I making back then? And what did I talk about? And I was really showing a lot of my project bags, and I thought, I have so many that are halfway done because I have a lot of stitching that I put on there waiting for me. I can see some right now. I really want to get things done. So project bags are addictive once I start, but I need to finish my cross stitch projects all the way fully complete. Then I can start doing something more. But speaking of boxes, I know I shared this one on the video that I'll click. Well, I click a button to make it happen. So the video that I put at the end. So this was one of those inexpensive boxes, but I was so thrilled with how, I think this was simply, no, I think I did stain it because I started up at the cabin. I bought it when we were up at the cabin. So one of the stains, I did a lot of work at the cabin, and one of the stains that I was using for the outside of the cabin. So it was a stain. Then I sanded it and then did the brie wax. So I loved how that turned out. And I've just been looking around and how can I use this? And the top is kind of funky. So I wanted something to put on the top. I've really been looking at a lot of Stacy Nash's finishes on Pinterest. So I'm going to put something here. I'm going to put something here. But I thought, what do I have that I can put on the front? Well, there is a free pattern from Pinker and Pumpkin. I was trying to picture it. Pinker and Pumpkin, and it's bees what's it called? I've got it here, but I just have the chart. What is it? A Basket of Honeysuckle by Pinker and Pumpkin Quilting. So I use Pinterest, but it leads you to the blog, and then I read her fun stuff. And now I'm subscribed to her blog, so I see all the new stuff she has. But I am doing this. Couldn't tell you exactly what it is, but this is Country Redwood. I love that. So this is going to be the right size for this project. But I was trying to put things where they belong so I will know. And I thought, oh, this is a nice big project bag that everything can fit in. So I think I just wanted to show you, after I was watching Rhonda, I just got really excited about my stitching boxes and what can I finish. So I think that's the fun thing, is that we all love to inspire. So we want to inspire you to use the things that you have and just play and enjoy and finish the things. That's what I really want to get inspired to do. I have had a lot of projects that I started before we moved that I still haven't finished. I started watching one of my whip parades and I thought, well, hot dog, haven't really done much since then. So I thought, I am not doing a whip parade, because I pretty much anything of any of my old videos, they're already there. But I thought, I want to get things finished and have a finish parade. So anyway, I am kind of showing you my whips right now, but it's Valentine related, and it's just to get you excited about your Valentine and to see how you can finish things up maybe, or just stitch on something, but just enjoy it. So I was thinking, okay, so let's just get my brain together. Okay, so I will show you, and then I'll find out what this one was. So this is, and this lighting, let's see, I am constantly going to be working on, whoops, that's not the right way. I want to be working on getting things so you can see them easier. And is that the right way? Nope, that's the wrong one. Darn it. Everything is mechanical in this house. When we bought it, it was already like that. There we go. We bought it mechanical. It's not a smart house, but it's smarter than me. Anyway, there you go. That's better lighting. So what is this? I don't know. I'll show you in a minute. It's sideways. That's how it is. There we go. And I was trying to think what frame, I'm guessing at how big it's going to be. What frame can I use? Because I have a whole blank wall, and I am so inspired with so many of you stitchers out there that are on YouTube that have their stuff up on the wall, and I have all my stuff in baskets because they're not finished. But this was a frame that I had picked up at a thrift store. This is the style that I like. I like plain, I like a little bit darker, and I like cheap. So this I think is really going to work perfect for this. So I measured it out. So now I really want to get it done. And you're still saying, what is it, my friend? Well, let's just find out what we have. This is how I do this. So this was the linen that I bought. This was the size that I bought, and I stitch in the hoop. I'm generally using a 5-inch, and then I just kind of twist it up. So I ironed it for you because it was a real mess. And I twist it and I stitch it, and it gets all wrinkled, but I don't want to cut it until I know what size, because I don't want to waste. But this is light exemplar, I think. So this is, wow, I've got so many things to share with you. This is, I had said something, I know I did this on one of the past videos. This is Valentine stuff, but it's in French General fabric. So I think I said there's French General in here. There is not. What is in here? I'm going to show you. Okay, this is everything from the book Ooh La La. So Ooh La La, French General bag. I like matching stuff. Okay, so, oh, that one I did. Okay, that one, we'll put that there. And then what is that other one? Oh, a bit of spring. Remember, it's not perfect. It's just like you're hanging out with me. And that's what it is, a bit of spring. So that is on the called for, which was what? I think I said exemplar. Vintage light exemplar from Lakeside Linens. And it was on 32. I am really, really finding 36 is my jam. I love 36. Sometimes you kind of play around with how it's going to fit. But at the beginning, I was just buying what was called for. But 36, I love everything about 36. But this is 32, and it is all the called for that I'm doing. But it's 1/2. So also, by now I would say, okay, let's have some coffee and take a break. And then I would let you talk to me so I could rest my little brain. This one is called A Little Bit French, same book, A Little Bit French, but I am not going to do it as the roll. I had started this. This was one that I saw in a whip parade, and I thought, good grief, just finish it. It is not that big, but it was on 40 count, and some designers or linen dyers and the companies, I guess linen dyers, they use different types of linen. Some of them are easier to stitch on, some of them are not. So I got the stuff out, but I didn't get all the perfect stuff. So this, I believe, is Ale Picture This Plus. I'm guessing Picture This Plus. And I found it was really, I did it in 40 because I wanted it smaller, because I wanted to make, at the time that I was doing it, I don't even think I had made any stitching boxes. That's how long it's been working on this. I was into needle books. Needle books, that was the thing I was doing. So I wanted this smaller so I could do a needle book. I had it done like this much, I think. And I just thought, just get it done. Just get it done. And stitching in hoop is slower. It's okay for me. But I finally got it done. And it is in the called for, which I think is baked apple. So as I was looking at it, and I thought, okay, the 40 is just more of a challenge for me, even though I do. So I have the opportunity to put 2 videos at the end. So I will tell you the other video that I think might be helpful, and it's my perfect stitching setup. It was one that I did long ago, and I've recently shown you the lamp, but I can almost do no stitching now without that magnifying light. So when I do embroidery now, I use that as well. It just really helps. It takes a strain off my eyes. It is so dry out here in our area of Colorado. It's like my eyeballs feel like they're sucked dry. So I want to take care of them. So I'm always stitching with a magnifying light. But even the 40 count with this, it was just not fun. And I thought, that's why it took so long. So I thought, okay, usually I don't like to waste any bit of my linen, but I thought, I'm okay with using up some of this. I love the color. So I thought, well, since I already started it here, how can I do something fun? So I thought, oh, look it, I've got enough where I'll do fabric on the inside, but if I open it up, I found another little stitching project that I can put here, and then I'll probably have it where I open it all the way up. There's fabric and different things, but I was just kind of playing, and I thought, that'll be fun. So that'll be fun. But if I didn't want to stitch this, will I finish something? We shall see. Maybe I'll have it a whole nother way. But there are so many projects in that book that I really wanted to do. And that's why a lot of times I'll just put the whole book in a bag and put all the threads that I think I may want to use and just have that and play with that. So Thanksgiving, I was monogamous, maybe. Usually I'm like all over the place with what I want to stitch. I sat down, I had watched, so many people have done Thomas by Not Forgotten Farm. I started it, and I was going to do it on the white Zweigart with DMC and coffee diet at the end. I am very distractible and I get easily bored. So I need that variegation. I need the linen that has variegation. I need the threads that have variegation because that keeps me engaged. And that's what I wanted to challenge you guys with too. Look at the projects you haven't finished and ask yourself why. Why is it that you haven't finished them? And what could you do to get over that roadblock and get it finished? Because you liked it enough to start it. This is what I'm telling myself. Why don't you finish it? And so sometimes it's, I had not started much. I'd probably spent an hour or so stitching on it. And I thought, okay, let's just redo it. And ta-da, this is Thomas. So Not Forgotten Farm. And what all the colors are, I couldn't even tell you right now. And each one that I chose, I really looked at because even if I tell you what I used for this, doesn't mean if you order that same thread, it's going to be the same. I find that frustrating. I know it's hand dyed. I know there's reasons, but I find that frustrating. So I just have all my threads there. That's what I did with each one. I got all my threads out and I thought, okay, what is the one that I'm going to want to see? And it was stitch heavy. There was a lot of stitching. I wanted to see the variegation. I wanted depth, but also a little bit of variegation. So that's how I was playing with it. I wanted to see that variegation. So when I do the finish, I will share the details, but I know this was on Ren. Ren is one of my favorites on 36. So I'm thinking that, I think I'm lost. Anyway, I still have the Valentine's project that's supposed to go in here. And I was just thinking, oh, I think this might go. Yes, it does go in there well. So, that is going to work. I like the dark. So, and I don't want to have tons and tons of different frames. So even if I have this project up on the wall all the time, I can take it down, pop in something else, and have it there for the whole fall time. So that's my Thomas. I have so many projects that just see, this would probably fit in that frame too. This was like a linen that I got. It was something ginger, spiced ginger or something, and it was like really orange. So I coffee dyed it, and then I thought, whoa, that's really dark now. What do I do? Anyway, this is Autumn Bouquet, I think, from Brenda Gervais. But this took forever, and I wasn't entirely thrilled with the color choices at the end. So I thought, we'll see. What will it look like when it's finished? It'll be finished. So it'll look great. I'll share all the details of all that stuff then, because otherwise it's going to get dark and I'm going to get lost. So this is, like I showed you, this is what I do. I sometimes, like, I will, just to get these finished, I will just cut this one off and cut this one off. But you'll see I have some where I filled in all those spots available. This is another one I did in the fall. And you can see how primitive it looks with the coffee dyeing, and I enjoy that. But this one, since the linen was already dyed, I believe I used the called for DMC because I liked the colors. This is from, I have all the stuff down here. This is from, I believe, Country Rustic Primitives on Etsy. So instant download. And I keep playing around with it because the fun thing with having all these boxes is I can decide, I have a beautiful old dough bowl now. I didn't have one for a long time. So now I can do decorations in a dough bowl. Or if I have enough little pillows, do I want to do it on a stitching box? And then I'm always thinking, okay, what can I put inside? Because if you'll look at the other ones, you'll see I usually do a pin cushion that I put in here. I usually do a needle minder that I've attached here. I have a place there for scissors, and then I make a matching needle book. I may do it different, and Rhonda's, it was really fun. She had done all different kinds of things in there. So it's just a fun thing to play around with. But I really want to get things finished because it's ridiculous how many things I have just sitting. But it served its purpose, though. It served its purpose in that it kept me sane. So this, see how impressed you should be with all my ironing? This is another hand. I did a lot of coffee dyeing. I got some linens, either that were the white Zweigart, and I wanted to use the variegated thread, so I coffee dyed it before I stitched. Sometimes I got a linen and it's like, not dark enough, so I can fix that. And I personally like the look of the coffee dyeing because, like, right now you can really see it's pretty stark, but when you get it just in that piece, if you were to look at just that piece, it does make it for that nice muted look. I have all the stuff written down somewhere, I hope. But the fun thing about these stitching boxes is, okay, like I could do this. Oh, where did I get this from? Good question. Good question. Good question. Lori Rippey, Homespun Prims. This was Christmas time. I wanted to do this guy, Country Rustic Primitives, on a box. So see how it fits on the box. And then I thought, well, if I cut that out, I would be wasting this linen over here. And I thought, well, hot dog, that could fit on a box too, if I wanted to, or it could be a pillow, or it can go in the frame. So that's where I just want to get saturated in having fun and playing and seeing what happens. What happens? So Country Rustic Primitives from this and from this. Now, I had just pulled out colors, so we will just say I will share with you the colors when I do the final finishes. I have been playing a lot on Pinterest, looking at all possibilities of how I want to do things. I had originally started that on Osnaburg, and several of my peeps that I watch on FlossTube have been talking about Osnaburg, and I do not like stitching on it. So I had stitched on it, messed something up, and I was going to do something with it, and I thought, it's mine. I just threw it away because I could, and I'm minimizing, and if that's what it takes, I just do it. And I thought, restitch it on that linen. So that was fun. Okay. This is Vintage Meadow Rue Lakeside Linens. Isn't that fun? I have had this pattern. It's okay, bud. Stop. I have had this pattern for years, waiting to get done. And one day I just thought, I am just going to get it started. And I stitched on it until it was done. And it was so fun because these as solids, I changed things around a lot. I changed this because it was 1/1. And I just thought, I'm stitching for fun, and that is not fun. And so I just looked in, the Brenda Keys motifs book and just found something. And then I started stitching. You'll see it's a little bit off center. I started stitching it, and it's like, oh, we need to change it. So I just thought, I'm just going to get it done. But oh, I love the variegation. I don't know if it really shows up well here, how this turned out, but I changed colors and I did things. I'm getting a little bit more confident in changing things up. A lot of times I do that all the time in quilting, but in cross stitching, I didn't have the confidence to just change it and make it what I really want to. But now, as I'm seeing my finishes and what I like, and the darker and darker colors that I'm really enjoying, that was fun. I had a hard time trying to find a frame because I only have really one store here to choose from, but this was the frame that I think is going to come the closest to what I want because I want dark and I want it on my wall. But it's showing, it's not centered, and there's a lot of linen showing there, but it's such a beautiful linen that's what I'm thinking. I could always do lots of different things. I could frame it with fabric, but I really just want to get it done. And I did change it around, but this is, I believe I have it down under here somewhere, but this is Plum Street Samplers. But if you can see, just take a picture, maybe screenshot if you want to see the changes that I made, because I wanted it a little bit less dramatic than it was showing. And a new favorite color. So this was a cherry bark. Now, the cherry bark that I had actually looked like cherry. The new cherry bark I ordered looked brown and burgundy. So that's the thing. I can tell you what colors I used, but by the time you order them, it could be a whole different color. This had a little hint of pink in it, and it looked gorgeous with this. And it was called, it's Ragdoll by, it's Ragdoll. It's either by, I think it's CC, Classic Colorworks. But if you just search Ragdoll, you'll see it's beautiful. It's a beautiful color. So I was really thrilled with how that turned out. But it was so fun. I was talking to my friend that works at Hobby Lobby about when I was doing this, as I was filling this solid flower in. This was the first one that I did, I think, or that one. But as I was filling that in with color, it was like when we were kids. And I know most of you that watch me are older like me. And when we were kids, she said that they still sell it now. The pencil thing where it's a paper and you use a pencil and go across it and then the design shows up. And that's how I felt as I was stitching this. And I think that's where I just got so addicted to it that I just wanted to finish it. So now I have the frame, and I sure hope I'm going to show you the finish soon. This is a free, I think it's Sub Rosa. So it's the Sub Rosa design. I will link this one because it is such a fun one to do. I got off track coming down here, and I took it out, redid it. I got off track somewhere, and then I just thought I am going to make it work. So my design is a little bit different because I thought I am not taking that thing apart again. But I really enjoyed that one. And I think I may have, oh, I have a whole bunch of stuff printed out here. So I'll catch you up on that. But whoa. So this was another one. I used up all the space again. It is just a coffee dye or a tea dye. A lot of times I like coffee dyeing, but then I did some tea dyeing of some stuff on one of my videos from a long time ago. This was a free one. I have shown this because it is, I stitched this 2 years ago, I think. Christmas bells, free by the Primitive Hair, and I just found the bells that I wanted to use with this. This was the other one from the Country Rustic Primitives that I showed you that I had done on the Osnaburg, and then I threw it away. So this is my favorite one, and I think it was Country Redwood was just, that was my jam when I was working on these, and it is more of a 30 or 32. Country Redwood, but that was the Country Rustic Primitives trio. Anyway, this I did forever ago. I need to finish and get that done. That blue winter, it's time to make dinner. Threadwork Primitives. Okay, but I can't stop because I got tons right here. Oh, see, I have been finishing, but not fully finishing. I was so excited. See, I was in the mood for using coffee dyed stuff. This was so fun. Another free one. There are so many free patterns. This was free. I think it was called Small Gift, Not Forgotten Farm. So if you just go to the different designers' blogs, Not Forgotten Farm, and just look under freebies. I changed it up a bit, but I had seen a picture of a finish of a pouch on Pinterest, and that's how I'm going to do this. So I changed it, and pretty sure that was Country Redwood too, but I like looking at it, so I can't wait till I get that finished. This was one I have stitched before. This is like a freebie mania, but this was a free stitch by Sheepish Designs, and I think it's called Baby Alphabet. This one I pulled out. I wanted to do something different, so I pulled out Ruby Slippers, and that was the color for that one. That was fun. And then It was just like I had a collection in a bag that, the bag is here, a collection in a bag of all these amazing patterns, most of them free, that I already had, that I just kept not doing. And I thought, this is ridiculous. That's where watching my own older whip parade, so you can watch a whip parade. It was one, I think the beginning of 2022, before I even knew we were going to be moving here. All that stuff is like, I haven't done any of that. This turned out so fun. This was a free chart from Plum Street Samplers. So this one, I'll share about that. BB, there's of course a story behind everything, but that one I really like. So it is fun. So you do not have to spend a lot of money for the fancy linens. You could just go to Hobby Lobby or wherever you would get your white Zweigart. Look at, I love Daisy K's Primitives. Christy, one of her early videos, did a coffee dyeing demonstration. That's how I do it. And the whole measuring thing, I just guess. Because there's measurements on there and I never know, just like in some of my, in the directions, I never know, is that the coffee or anyway, you just play with it. There was one of my videos that I had seen that I was into tea dyeing and coffee dyeing, which is probably why I have all that linen that I can use now. But I was playing with different colored teas, and this I wrote on here. I had a red rooibos tea, and I opened up the tea bag so I could try to get that just really primitive. But there was one that I got. It was Winter Moon, wasn't dark enough for me. And so this one has a hint of red, but I thought, oh, that's fun. But I was texting back and, or not texting, commenting back and forth, same thing, with someone that they were going from Ada to try linen. And I said, whoa, you definitely need that magnifying light and find what works for you. So different designers have, like I said, where you can hardly see the holes because the threads are thicker. And then some where it's really loose, like the Weeks that's not on Zweigart base is really loose, but I use that a lot, and you can certainly see the holes. But you just try different things. But I mentioned I order from 123 Stitch, and you can get, this is the smallest piece that you can get. Any of the linens, if it's available, is this size. It comes serged, and it's like $6.50. So even if you don't like it, you can coffee or tea dye it, and if you like it, then you know that's a designer that you like. So ideas. Okay, so these are all the patterns, but I don't use the, if it's a DVD download, I haven't been using, I don't even have my color printer connected, which has been like the story of my life, but I need to like use it or lose it. So that Christmas Tide, yes, by Lori Rippey. Oh, and I do have the details on there. So next time I do a video, I will do it. Look at this one, was actually the real one. So A Red Cottage by Plum Street. Then Stone Street Stitchworks, the one that I showed you I had to undo and redo, Quaker Rose, the freebie. Then the alphabet one, it was Country Rustic. Country Rustic was the trio. And then a Valentine's, oh, I can show you because it's a free one. So, but we'll just do that just in case. But that's the one. And it's a Valentine stocking complimentary design from Plum Street Samplers. And then the Not Forgotten Farm is called Small Gift. And it's on her blog, which is farmhousenotforgotten.blogspot.com. So that one's there. Sheepish Designs, the baby alphabet. See, I'm remembering. Okay, here's some other things. So this next one, Stone Street Stitchworks, a free one, Sweetheart. See, you can save so much money. This was when I was into, this is done by Oatmeal, and this is, I think, on Aztec Red. But this was my, how can I show you? How can I show you? I'll just show you. I was into making needle books. So I have all the little pockets for all my little tchotchke things that I use. And how can I tell you how to do these? I'll probably never do a tutorial, but you never know. Anyway, that was a freebie and that was fun. Stone Street Stitchworks. Oh, okay. So this is Valentine Country Rustic Primitives. This is, I think, one of the few. I've only have a couple things that I actually finished. So this one I did do on the white Zweigart with the DMC, coffee dyed after stitching. What else have I? Oh, and the Love Never Fails that I showed you at the very beginning, that was a free one. So from the Primitive Hair. Oh my word, there's so many things more to show you. Okay, where did you go? I have another one of a big needle book that I did. I think I actually have that stitching in the front room, so we'll see if I can't find that. I was just getting in the mood for what can I use to put in my dough bowls. So Christy Daisy Case Primitives does so many fun things and really shows pictures of her decorating. So not just telling you what you did, but showing how she displays in her colonial decorating. So fun. And I had done a comment on one of her videos on like, I need inspiration for how to actually make those little pillows stay up there. So she did a video just showing all the things that she puts in the dough bowls because they're wood and they're curved. And so the pillows need something to help them stick up there. So she did a whole video on different things. So I have a dough bowl and right now I have a bunch of greenery and pine cones in it for winter, and maybe I'll put maybe a picture will appear here that you can see. But I went to Hobby Lobby. This was supposed to be a placemat. And I thought, well, this is pretty much the size of my dough bowl. I will probably tea dye or coffee dye it to make it a little bit more prim. But I was just collecting things for Valentine. And so that's going to be a fun thing. So this is where I have, so this is Key to My Heart by Primitive Stitchin' by Shelly On. So that's again on, but this is, oh, that's again on Etsy. I need to finish a sentence. This is how I've been doing this, just so I have everything in here, all the things that I want to be doing. This is such a pretty linen. This is from Dames of the Needle, and it's Sweeney Red. Isn't that beautiful? I have, so this is how I'm doing things. So this is like, this is just pulled out from a magazine. It's not even a pattern. Like, oh, I could do a quilt that's red and brown. Then I have things that I've drawn out. Then I have colors that I might want to use for a project. Just colors to inspire me. That could be the back of a pillow. I have this pattern and I wanted to do it like, I don't usually stitch on 28 because even 32 is kind of small for me. But this one is so gorgeous. So this is Stacy Nash, and it's the Love Sampler, and I want to do it like exactly like that. So I ordered 28 count from 123 Stitch, and it's coming, and I am going to do it exactly like she says it because I want the size of that to happen. Then I have stuff pulled out. This is an embroidery pattern, but I have stuff pulled out. And the pattern is the pattern, so I can't show it to you, but it's just something that I want to do it with embroidery. I can't find this. I stitched this several years ago and it's in one of my boxes and it needs finally finished. So I thought I really need to get stuff done so I can find things. I ordered this because I really wanted to do that. I saw that on Pinterest and I'm going to use the Sweeney Red and do that. This is the way I get so inspired by how they decorate. I love that inspiration. Oh, for the inside of that needle book that I was showing you, the 40 count ale, this is what I decided I'm going to do on the inside because I don't think I'm going to do this whole project because I have so many things I want to do, but I think I'm going to do that guy on the inside. So all this stuff kind of just stays together. So when I get the mood, like I did that night when I started the Red Cottage, I just thought, I want to do something new. I had everything together and I just grabbed it, sat down and started. And that really helps me because I'm very distractible. I'll show, what time is it? Okay. This is something I did years and years ago. And it's when I was really doing the embroidery, it just needs the final stuff to be put on for the wool and to be put together. And it's, I think I did that like many years ago, maybe even 10. So it is time to finish things up. And that's part of wanting to declutter. Things that are sitting around that aren't done just turn to clutter. So this is bare roots. Most of the patterns that I did with embroidery were either when Stacy West was doing primitive embroidery designs with buttermilk base, and I haven't seen those. So I really need to search and find those because I have a lot of the things that Stacy West did that I haven't seen for sale now. So we'll see. But gosh, that could have been 10 or 15 years ago. That's a winter design I want to finish. Then here's my bag with all my winter things, that even magazines. So I had something from here, everything together, even with some linens and thread. So when I get in the mood, boom, I've got that and I can really get going on it. So I'll share that in a quilting video. So I have, the last thing I want to share with you is, as I was watching one of my videos, I was showing these things, the thread jewelry. And I thought, oh, where are all of those? And with the whole move thing, I just lost track of a lot of things. And I thought, oh, because for a while they were bugging me because it was just like, I don't know, it was just in the way. And I thought, oh, I'm just going to get to the stitching. And now I'm like, oh, I want to play. I have a video that I did and it's so funny. It's just like, oh my gosh, girl, get to the point. And I had started it like at midnight because that's when I was working. And I'll link that one too. I don't know how many of those little linky things I can do, but it was a video and it was one of those tutorial, not tutorials on how I make these. And now I was showing like everything about it. So I just thought it's time for me to start playing again. And as I was unpacking, I found the box of all my stuff and I saw it on my video in my California sewing room. And it was just like, oh my gosh, that was so fun. So I have so many finished projects in here and so many things that I can make, but I haven't unpacked the papers yet. So I got to keep unpacking to find that. But I'm hoping, like, who knows? I got very much in. I just don't feel like doing videos right now for a long time in the whole transition. And Jenny Stitching Simply is back and she has moved too. I think she was off for 2 years and it was like, me too, I did that. Because there are times that it's just like, it's all we can do just to do life the way we need to. And then other times we have extra to be able to come and share and yak and do all that. But for the times of coming and going, so if you miss me and I haven't had a video, check out my channel with all my old ones. I got inspired because I've gained weight with the whole move and I thought, oh, I need to get back and get disciplined and all that. But I do have a lot of old videos and I'm just as yucky then as I was now. But that's the way I do it. And if you're visiting with me still at the very end, you're okay with it. So I just kind of decided to do this quick, and usually I like to prepare something that I share with you at the end, where those of you that stay to the very, very end know that I share a bit about my spiritual journey with you. And I thought, I don't have anything to show you, a verse or something like that, but here's the concept for you. There's two things. One, discipline is kind of like my word for the year. I wanted something more fun, something more positive, but it's like, girl, you need discipline. So that's what it is. So purposeful discipline and getting kind of things in order is what I would really like to do. And I'm getting a call right now. So I don't know if that shuts off what you're hearing. So you can read my lips if it does, because if I push a button, I'll make it so it stops, and I don't want to redo this one. But discipline is my thing for the year. So I know if I want to stay in the word and be reading the Bible and doing that discipline, I need to sign up for a Bible study. So I love being in a women's Bible study, being with other women, sharing things. And I am determined. For a while, I wasn't even doing my homework, and I would get there late, and I thought, stop. So that's part of my discipline. I'm basically getting there on time, and I am doing my homework. And so it feels really, really good to do that. And then as I was reading, and one thing that I was sharing was, I get so lazy and I put off doing my study, or I put off reading the Bible. And then I'm reading it and it's like, this is true. It's connecting with that part in us that God created that only He could fill. It's like, this is the truth. This is good. Why do I put it off? Why do I get addicted to stitching and just leave off my Bible reading until I'm too late at night? It's just not wise. So I'm trying to get disciplined in that. And then the other thing I wanted to share with you is just that concept of remembering that God is faithful. What has He done in your life in the past that you know that would only have happened if God was in it? There's a whole lot of things that we will have no idea, the things that we just thought maybe we were smart and we did it on our own, but God's hand was in that. So there is something that we are anxiously awaiting for closure, and it has been dragging out for many reasons. And I just have to keep remembering God is faithful, and if this thing is going to happen, it will happen in His timing. So I am trying to remind myself, my husband's reminding me, I'm reminding him, but it really does help because I've been walking with the Lord since I was a little girl, and sometimes closer, sometimes farther. But I have seen His hand in my life, and I am so very grateful. So that's what I would like to encourage you guys with, is remembering that God is faithful, and He will work in our lives when we give Him that authority. And that's another thing of just really saying to God, I cannot do this. I need your wisdom. I need your strength. I need your courage. And I give you my life. And I have shared about the Pause app from Wild at Heart, John Eldridge. I've been doing that consistently and sharing that with other people too, of like, this is really helping me focus. And I'm trying to use the things that I have instead of always the idea of, oh, I could buy this book, I could buy this, buy that. No, I'm using what I've got, and that app is free. And that's one thing I've been trying to do, is stay consistent with the things that I need to do that will help me. Yes, I'm addicted to stitching. Yes, I don't always get things done, but I am trying to be faithful, trying to be disciplined. So thank you guys so much for hanging out with me and being with me in this whole process. And let me know what you think of the editing. I have no idea what I'm going to edit. So that's why I've been doing a video and waiting a little bit to see what I want to put in there. And I just don't want it to be distracting. So let me know if it makes things better for you, or if it's distracting. So I'd really like to know that. But anyway, God bless you guys, and I will see you soon.